Well, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hi, my name is Emerald Hill and this is where I review what I eat in a day as a fat girl. As a former fat girl, I've lost over 100 pounds. And yes, today we're playing dress up. I was looking through my closets and I found this shirt and I was like, I might as well wear it for the first time ever. Why don't we just fly into it?
Here's what I eat in a day as a happy fat woman. Not conforming to be meek and small. It's just my way of fighting against fascism.
Fun fact, I'm not familiar with the word fascism, so we're going to Google it now. Fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, and ultranationalist, dang nabbit, political ideology that emerged in early 20th century, characterized by dictatorship of society and economy. Fascism include leader, suppression, or militarism, forcible suppression of a person. What does this have to do with your breakfast? What is this? Sorry, I just showed you. Yes, actually, the reason why I'm wearing the makeup and the shirt is to distract you from the fact that one of my fingernails is popped off. Does that have anything to do with what you eat? Do you think of fascism or political agendas when you make yourself a spot of food?
Breakfast sandwich. I defrost it in the microwave and then I throw it in the oven because our air fryer has been dirty, like crusty on top, that it makes a really smelly noise. If that wasn't bad enough, the napkin that
Oh, this is a very interesting morning, isn't it? What if to fight the fascism, we cleaned the air fryer? That was mean, I'm sorry, but that's interesting. So we decided to use a different cooking technique today because our air fryer was too dirty. I don't know if it's an uncleanable air fryer, but it seems as though it has kind of like derailed us a little bit, but let's retrack and continue.
Sit it on got stuck to the bottom. Gross.
I don't do well with those sensory upsets.
Fun fact about me, I'm helping my family's church with their social media, so I had to go live stream their church service, which is objectively on brand for me. This is sarcasm. I have the scrappiest of all little mouse lunches with leftover salad, and then I also got a little bit of tuna mac and cheese just to fill me up a little bit. I watched Beetlejuice last week, and I feel like I keep on doing the Beetlejuice voice now because of it. Our friend directed a production of Sweeney.
Okay, so I didn't really get to see the tuna salad thing that she mentioned, but she did mention that she had a little bit of salad, and that can be really good, and it can kind of mess you up. It's all about how on point you are about paying attention to what you're eating. I do that all the time. Okay, I'm just gonna grab like a little bit of leftover and throw it in there, and then I'm good for a few more hours until I have whatever meal prep that I've made. But again, it's kind of like one of those things where you have to be honest with yourself and say, is this actually a little morsel of a lunch? Because I know that if I'm having my dad's coleslaw, it's technically a little morsel, but he's doused it in at least 14 tablespoons of the coleslaw sauce. So really, this little handful of coleslaw is a good portion of lunch for me, yeah. Just in fat. Good to be careful of that.
Sweeney Todd with a bunch of high schoolers, really talented high schoolers, and so on the way there I had a little bit of chocolate. So I need a sweet treat after lunch. I don't know, it's like...
I've tried the Tony's chocolate. I got the assorted pack for my family for Christmas, and I thought it was really good. I thought that it was fun, and when you like break into it, the chocolate isn't like, you know, just like bar. It has like a cool little shape design to it that you get to snap apart. So, you know, if you're looking for something expensive to do, because they are kind of pricey, but I never seen the ones that she had, the little individual packs.
Written in my loss. No idea why. I was viciously hungry during intermission, so my husband and I split this little...
I don't know why I was viciously hungry during intermission, despite the fact that I had a measly lunch. That had no protein in it whatsoever. Breakfast was a protein-ish thing. It had a little bit of egg and a little bit of cheese. Not a lot, though. And then for the thing, she had like a little bit of salad. Why am I hungry? I have no idea. I literally haven't eaten that much today, so there you go.
Blanking potato chips. After the show, we were ravenous, and so we went to Miller's. That wasn't a question. We definitely went to Miller's. It was just a matter of I almost said Miller Lite because we were all insanely hungry. I forgot to take a video of the nachos, but we got gorgeous.
Okay, so we had some nachos, which is kind of a must-go-to. I love nachos out at a restaurant most of the time. When they mess it up, it's like, how did you mess up nachos? You just ruined everything. Now you're known for messed up nachos. That's very sad. But if you get a good nachos, it's like, that place has really good nachos.
Just nachos, and then I got fish and chips. Reason is
I'm getting a sad plate of fish and chips. Now it all just looks beige with like a little bit of beige covered greens on the side, which is that coleslaw there, which my dad would approve of. That is the amount of coleslaw dressing he would want on his coleslaw.
Reason 1,000, my husband loves me is I never eat my coleslaw, so that's always for him. Hung out, had a great time gabbing. Of course, his cast was supposed to go to a different location, some of them came there, so that was fun. His is my friend, his is the director. Had a very stale bite of a donut. Got home, had a gummy, and needed some popcorn. While the popcorn was making, I needed to eat Doritos, and then all hell broke loose.
Oh, I see. I think we had a gummy, you know what I mean? That is something that will help you get the munchies. And as we saw, as I'm making popcorn, I had to have nachos, and I'm not sure if she's reaching in there for something else. But we also just snacked on a bite of a stale donut, right? So maybe she didn't like it and she threw out the rest, which is always good. If you don't like something, don't eat the rest. Don't force yourself into doing something like that. You're worth more than that. Back to the edible thing. That's something that, you know, as a Canadian, I've heard a lot. Not saying I do, and definitely not saying I don't. Getting the munchies is a very difficult thing to overcome, and if it's something that is now a habit, now you have 2 habits that you have to break. Number 1 is taking the relaxing edible at the end of the night, and then number 2 is now you have to break having all these snacks as well at the end of the night.
Oh, God.
Are you okay? The way Billy jumped, I felt so bad.
Damn, Dorito!
Where did the Doritos come into play?
You're my popcorn, obviously.
Made myself some popcorn, had that with some chocolate chips, and that was the night.
Oh wow, okay, so we're having a bit of like a snacker-roo! So we had Doritos in prep for our popcorn, which we had chocolate chips with. I need something sweet, and I need something salty, and I need something kind of sweet and salty while I'm waiting for it. I've been there, we've all been there, right? I think that when you kind of look at the entirety of the day, we had a lot of just kind of nonsense food, right? Like even the beginning of the day was filled with frozen sandwich that looked like she didn't make it, right? Which is easy to make. You can make frozen breakfast sandwiches and they actually come out really beautifully great. And then we moved on to having kind of like a snacky lunch, and we were not mindful about that. So when we got really hungry later, we were asking ourselves, why am I so freaking hungry right now? It's because we didn't have a very good lunch, and then we snacked a bit on chips. We went and we had dinner, which was fish and chips. Again, we didn't eat the coleslaw. Nice. And then we came home and we had a stale donut bite and then more chocolate and popcorn and Doritos. So I think that really today was really just about not being mindful. That's really what stands out to me. It's just how much of like, oh, it's just a little bit of this and add a little bit of fling of that. And oh, I didn't have that, but I really didn't understand why. That's just a lot of what I'm hearing in this video. So what I would say is the more that you become mindful and intentional about what you're making and what you're eating and even what you're snacking at the end of the day. Like we're looking through stuff and we're scavenging for stuff, but I now have a fruit pile in my fridge that I am allowed to snack on. I do have popcorn. I do have like chocolate things or whatever. The majority of the things that I snack on is fruit because that's what's going to kind of like fill me up and give me that sweet treat without the additional added processed sugar or whatever. You have a cute giddy laugh to you and I love that. Moving on.
Everything I eat in a day as a plus size girly on a weight loss journey.
Okay, so we got somebody who's actually on a weight loss journey. Let's see how we can be helpful. What do you have to say?
Let's go ahead and dive into it. Breakfast today is protein yogurt with some protein powder, some vanilla pudding with some bananas, and Catalina Crunch on top.
Amazing! So we got a protein thing for breakfast and that's really fantastic. Have I ever tried a protein powdered yogurt thing with crunchies on top? Of course I have. Did I like it? Absolutely not. I hated it. It was disgusting. Oh my god. If you like it, good for you. You're obviously very dedicated and that is awesome. She got that yogurt, she went out and she got the protein, and she went ahead and she found the fat-free Jell-O thing to mix in with it to give it that thickness or whatever, and then she put that little crunchiness on top. So obviously she's doing her research, she's going for it, she's finding out those recipes, and that's amazing. I would just say, don't be afraid to go back to the basics of, eggs and a slice of toast and some fruit on the side, because eventually you're going to want to start to appreciate just like the natural flavors of little ingredient foods as possible. But this is a beautiful stepping stone. I remember this. I remember being like, I'm going to do these recipes and throw these things together, and it's disgusting. I hate it. Do people really eat this? And then you find out your own path. But good for you. That's amazing.
Lunch, we went out to get Mexican. I got the fajita nachos with no cheese. This is what I ended up eating and what was left over.
I literally just did the same thing the other day, but I refuse to not let myself have cheese. Like, come on, like, who am I? Who do I think I am? I love having cheese, but good for you. You didn't eat all of your rice there and you left a few nachos. That's awesome. You're doing so well. Basically, like, meat and a bit of carbs and veg is awesome. And you're seeing like, okay, so the rice is probably cooked with oil, so I'm not going to eat all of the rice. And a lot of the time when you go out, you get like double or triple the portion of rice. It's sad because they make it so freaking tasty, but good for you for, making your own divot of rice and eating that. You were doing such a good job. 2 gold stars to you so far. And we're having an Olipop crisp apple thing that we now know is like a gut health thing and is not filled with sugar and calories and stuff.
Over. Had to have my Olipop for a drink when I came back, just to help with my overall gut health. When I got home today, I was a little munchy, so I had some grapes, which honestly I love.
Amazing. I love grapes. Beautiful. Have you ever tried frozen grapes as a snack? I have.
Yeah, I love green grapes. The crunchier, the better. I was still hungry, so
Absolutely. The crunchier the grape, the better. Mushy grape, not for me. No, 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 no. Seedless. Gotta be seedless. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Crunchy. That's the grape for me.
Before we went out shopping, I ate some leftover of the General Tso's chickens from last night.
Oh, interesting. So last night we had takeout, but we did have leftovers from the takeout and we had a couple of bites of the chicken, which, if you're looking at that 80-20 thing, pretty good. However, if we pay attention to the overall diet, we did already go out for lunch, and now I see what she's holding in her hand as a cookie. From my personal experience, kind of looking back, it crosses over into the next day. When you go out for dinner, then the next day you're like, nah, well, I have leftovers and I'm gonna eat leftovers from my takeout yesterday. I might as well just get takeout lunch today. That might be what we're seeing right now as well. I might as well just go out for lunch because I'm gonna have takeout for dinner or takeout for snack, and we're following it through with a cookie. Even though it was chicken, like it was protein, it still is bread and sugar covered protein.
I didn't know this, but Oreos that are gluten-free are also dairy-free because they're like accidentally vegan, but I was so happy with that. I also had some Silk protein to drink, and we were just finishing off.
So she was drinking her protein as well. This is something that a personal trainer friend of mine kind of told me. That was one of the little food nuances I was allowing myself, was if it has protein in it, I might as well have it. But the truth is, when we're looking at this diet, she's already had quite a bit of protein. I would say enough protein that would probably satiate until the next meal. So that protein milk, despite the fact that it is high in protein, probably isn't something that you need right now. If you want to hit 100 grams of protein, you are well on your way there, and we haven't had supper yet.
Finishing off with some ramen tonight, and I had a few other snacks throughout the day that I forgot to film, but here's just an overview of the day.
She's having ramen for dinner, which isn't really the best to have because it's basically just carbs. It's just noodles and like a few peas. I don't think it says anything about meat or anything like that.
In total, I had 2,226 calories for the day with 317 grams of carbs, 66 grams of fat, and 123 grams of protein. Everything else is broken up between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and as well as snacks. So breakfast, I had 459 calories, lunch was 520 calories, dinner was 760 calories, and snacks were 487 calories for the day. This was more of like one of those days to where I could not get satisfied and just kept wanting to eat something, but overall pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. She admitted I had a few more snacks throughout the day, and she was at like over 2,200 calories, and that's a really good thing to pay attention to. And so how do you kind of negate that or go with it, right? We had grapes, which is really great, but we also had a bit of leftover chicken, General Tso chicken and whatever. So I would say just like kind of incorporate more fruit and get, used that kind of like snacking on vegetables. And then eventually you'll be able to say, despite the fact that you're hungrier, you can say, no, I actually don't need that right now. Or maybe differentiate that you're actually really thirsty. It took a lot for me to realize that sometimes when my stomach growls, I'm actually really thirsty. And I go to eat something and it's like, God, I just actually really wanted a big tall glass of water. Just something to keep in mind. But overall, I think that you're on a fantastic journey and you're doing really well.
What I have for breakfast as a plus size woman who's not on a diet and not trying to lose weight, brace yourself. 3 little mini Scotch pancakes.
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to include this is because of this person's attitude. And it's not a bad attitude. I just wanted to kind of like sit in it and simmer in it for a second with everybody.
Blueberries. So I imagine people probably think I have like a massive fry up every day. I don't. I genuinely can't remember the last time I had a fry up. I think I've just got a really, really low metabolism. I don't do enough exercise, to be honest. Fat-free Greek.
Maybe exercise is really great for getting stuff moving, but we'll see. We'll keep on moving. We had 3 tiny pancakes, some blueberries, and fat-free Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt. Oh my god. Syrup is so friggin' good. It's cheaper than maple syrup and it's also 45% less sugar. And then I've got a black coffee. No sugar, no sweetener, no milk, nothing. That's it. That's me breakfast. I love it. Pancakes are toasted as well, ever so slightly, so they're nice and warm. That's good. Don't judge a book by its cover. Just because I'm fat does not mean I actually eat like a pig.
Now, that's a really fair point, right? Just because you're fat doesn't mean that you eat terribly. It doesn't mean that you're going out and you're eating slop all of the time. And that's a really great breakfast, right? 3 little pancakes. I do want to know what the calorie content is on the pancakes, just because sometimes they can be really, really great and sometimes they shock you. I looked at that plate and it seemed like it was a portion of Greek yogurt and obviously low calorie syrup and blueberries. But my argument is that's the morning. As somebody who used to be a teacher and as somebody who researches it and watches a lot of these videos, it really seems to me that the crux of the issue is the night time. When the cravings come out to play, that's when the real story starts. So while it is that I think that that is a beautiful breakfast, I want to see the rest of what's going on behind the scenes. And you're right. I don't think that there's any point in saying to somebody you must eat like a pig because of your size. That's not true. But there is also something to be said that what is the issue that's happening that isn't eating like a pig? There's more to it than that. And it's good to realize that.
This is what I eat in a day as a plus size woman working to lose weight to reduce knee pain and get strong and healthier overall.
Nice! I love clear goals. Reducing knee pain is awesome. My mom suffers with knee pain and she also has sciatica in her hips and stuff like that. So losing weight is kind of a priority for her right now, just because it affects everything. It affects her sleep. It affects how she walks around during the day. It affects even how comfortable she's able to sit and lay down. Having a clear weight loss goal that's more than just looks is really important because it's that reminder of, oh yeah, well, this is this everyday thing that actually impacts me.
I start off my morning with a high protein oatmeal cup and I paired that with some blueberries. I don't know what it is right now, but I'm still on a blueberry kick. I just can't get enough of them.
I think that's amazing. I think that anything that's high protein is really great as long as you're tracking the calories and the protein, and that's awesome. I would just say that sometimes you can get really caught up with pre-made processed stuff, and it's really good to start to learn how to make these things yourself so that you don't feel stuck when those things aren't close access to you, right? Like you don't have a store that has this protein cup. So now what do you do for breakfast? And you think to yourself, how patronizing. Of course I can figure out what I do for breakfast. Until you are stuck in the middle of nowhere and you are looking at the options in the store and you haven't come to terms with the fact that maybe you're gonna have to have a packet of sliced meat. You have to be able to learn like what freshness and foods and flavors are you gonna be able to get used to so that it's not, I feel like it's torture to have to eat sliced meat. Because all I know is warm, beautifully seasoned meat that I put in the microwave and it comes with a little side of mashed potatoes. You gotta get in the trenches with us.
And this pairing of oatmeal and blueberries together, so delicious. You need to try it. Something about the hot oatmeal and the cold blueberries, oh, it's just so good. So my lunch was a little...
But I think that that is really awesome. We can hear how she's starting to appreciate the foods that is something that is within the diet plan, and that's really great. Oh, I really appreciate the texture and the difference in the temperature of the food. That's really great too, to notice that instead of just like the amount.
all over the place because I had leftover chicken and green beans from last night's dinner, but then I paired that with some string cheese, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I added some dill pickles and also a York peppermint patty for the end of the meal sweet treat.
Girl dinner! That's awesome! That's amazing! I wouldn't say that that's weird at all. And that is really good to tune into too. You should write that down. What food rule are you battling right now that you think that that looks weird to people, right? You got a good portion of meat, a good portion of veg, some fat on the side, and a little sweet treat for the end. What is wrong with that? Who are you talking to?
I fully believe every meal should have a sweet treat at the end. It's just a thing. You just have to do it. But you will notice that instead of having a Diet Coke, I decided to stick with water today. I'm hoping I can kind of keep this trend going because I know I need to hydrate more, and that's part of my plan. So I'm going to try to cut back on the Diet Coke and go for water more.
Aw, what's wrong with the Diet Coke? What's wrong with that? Like, I do think that it's important to choose water over Diet Coke, but I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about it. That is something that I still struggle with is you know what, maybe don't listen to me. I'm not good at intaking my water. What am I talking about? Yeah, cut out your Diet Coke and choose water over Diet Coke. That's what I should be doing too. Oh my God, teach me your ways. Make a YouTube video about me and judge me about how little water I'm drinking.
We'll see how that goes. My afternoon work snack was my leftover string cheese that I didn't have at lunch today, so I decided to have that.
I feel so gratified later in the day when that happens to me. Sometimes I'm just so atrociously hungry that can't be a possibility for that day, but when it does happen, mwah, a star is born.
Dinner tonight was quick, easy, and delicious. I got the sweet potato gnocchi from Trader Joe's and paired that with a Perdue chicken cutlet. Honestly, it takes 10 minutes to make this meal, and it's just so good. The sweet potato gnocchi from Trader Joe's is one of my favorite. If you haven't tried it, you have to go out and try it. It's so delicious.
That's really great. It looks like she's portioned that out. The only thing that I would say is while it is good to go for convenience, it's really good to start learning how to make this stuff yourself, because just making at-home meal with like sauteed vegetables and stuff, you're just gonna have such much more of a voluminous meal than like a little portion of gnocchi and that portion of chicken breast that was there. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. I'm really glad that you portioned it out. That's really great. Oh, yeah. Also, if you want to get more hydration, learn how to eat hydrating vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. That's a really quick way around having to drink more water. Eat more vegetables because vegetables have water in them. That'll also help motivate the reason why you should be eating more vegetables. Now it looks like we have a probiotic ice cream cup, cultured cup, chocolate covered strawberry flavor.
You know me, at the end of every meal I need a sweet treat, so I did Alex's Culture Cup ice cream cup thing. It's made with A2 dairy, and I have no idea what that means other than people say it's good for you, but I'll just say this was delicious, so I didn't care about that. It was just so good. And then I had a York peppermint patty because I needed another one at the end of the day, and why not, right? And that's what I ate.
You know what? I think that is good that you paid attention to one of the food rules, right? You really believe that everybody should have a sweet treat at the end of the day, and that is fantastic. At least you know yourself. And so what I would say is start to implement more natural, sweet things. Have a piece of fruit at the end of the day alongside with the ice cream cup, right? You already had a mint thing, right, earlier in the day, and you admitted, well, I already had one of these, and that is something that will create the plateau later. We make these friends, don't we, where we say to ourselves, well, I stuck really well to the rest of the day, so I might as well just have an extra little sweet treat, and that will save me from feeling deprived. And that is beautiful when it works. But when it starts to not work, when we enter the phase of the plateau, we have to turn to these things that used to be our friends, right? The one more won't hurt is a friend. It saved us from perhaps binging or going overboard, and that's really great. But now we have to turn to that thing and let it go every once in a while, or create a new friend or a new rule, right? Now I will have an extra sweet treat, but it will be a piece of fruit instead, because a piece of fruit will be less in calories and absolutely not processed as the Yorkie. You are doing a fantastic job. You're trying really hard and you're making those things. You're making great progress. I would just say start to learn how to make these things yourself. The breakfast thing, how to make it yourself. The sweet treats, how to make those yourself. Or just come to terms with the simple one ingredient recipe foods, just a banana on its own, or a banana with some chocolate on the side, right? Just getting and implementing more fresh vegetables and fruit like that. But other than that, congratulations, great job. And that is the end for a What I Eat in a Day as a Fat Girl video. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Emerald Hill. Comment down below if you like this video. Please leave a suggestion for what you would like me to review next. Thanks so much and bye for now.